The amount of news that we've been getting has been way too good. And this has been since the beginning. I mean, listen, since even September of last year, every single day there's another institution buying. There's another bank. There's another rich family, another country, hint, wink, who is buying Bitcoin in some form or fashion. And then our prices started going down. And it's really interesting because there's actually a chart which shows that this was definitely taking place. They were manipulating the price to push it down so that they could accumulate. I need everyone to understand where we're going right now with Bitcoin and exactly what's taking place and where we will be in 5 years. About a good 95% of the market is not paying attention. They don't read the news. They don't hear me saying the news. The news does not interest them. What interests them is very quick, short-term gains in their pocket. They made $15,000, $25,000, $125,000, not understanding that the institutions, the banks, the countries are buying up as much Bitcoin as they possibly can. All the leaked documents that we received from the biggest banks on the planet have stated that Bitcoin is going to be way above $500,000 over the next year or two. In the most popular news, and I mean rightfully so, if you read this news or heard about this news and you did not get excited, you do not understand what is currently taking place. If you saw this news and went, okay, well, it's South America, you will be angry with yourself in 5 years because you did not get it. This is probably one of the most significant things that we will have heard about this year thus far. The president of El Salvador has announced that he this week is going to, I think he put forth a bill that this week is going to declare Bitcoin as legal tender within the country. This means that they are, if all logic plays out, they are going to be the country accumulating Bitcoin as part of their actual reserve for the country. Usually you would accumulate the US dollar or maybe gold as a way to base your money, but Bitcoin is going to be actual money in that country. This should also logically mean that there will be no capital gains tax on the actual movement of crypto because it is legal tender. This is incredible. What we are currently entering, and you may have heard this from me a little bit ago, is something called hyper-Bitcoinization. There are many countries on the planet right now whose economies are absolute garbage. The introduction of Bitcoin as a payment method, as legal tender, as the basis of your currency or the actual currency itself is going to send this country, their GDP is, oh my gosh. Other Latin American countries are going to take notice. The same exact way. Remember sometime last year when we had indications that PayPal was looking to get into the cryptocurrency space and any other company, just in general. I said what happens is that when that company gets into the cryptocurrency space and during the next quarter they show, hey, we made $347 million by doing absolutely nothing, whether we bought Bitcoin and held it or we offered it as a service. Other companies go, we have to get into that. This is an amazing chunk of what our company could actually be made of. When the price of Bitcoin starts rising rapidly, especially when this country starts to declare how much Bitcoin that they have and how much more they're accumulating per month, other countries are going to take notice. If we end up hitting a $100,000 Bitcoin within the next couple of months, and this country has tripled their money, what do you think happens to the other countries around them or any other country who's currently undergoing hyperinflation? They go, we have to buy 10,000 Bitcoin. The amount of Bitcoin that's already on the market is not really there. I've tried going over that with a lot of you before. I'm not sure if it's really hitting or ticking or clicking, whatever kind of thing is going. This is, you know what really bothers me as well? A huge portion of the news over the weekend was just revolving around Elon Musk. And there was also news that I think that Elon Musk said something about Dogecoin and about something else, and Charles Hoskinson and Vitalik Buterin gave like a rebuttal or replied back to Elon, and that was like, oh my gosh, you can't believe it happened. And it's like, are you people serious? The news that we had when Iran openly, when Venezuela openly announced last year that they not even requested, that they told their army to start mining Bitcoin. The news that we had that there were 8 countries on this planet who were under US sanctions, who were accumulating and mining Bitcoin and using that for trade amongst themselves. And I know this news will barely make a blip. And you don't get it. I don't understand why people are this way in the cryptocurrency market. Why everyone is so concerned with, like, I get it. I get the price movements of Shiba Inu, and I get the price movements of where Litecoin could potentially go, and I get the fact that this coin could potentially do this. Bitcoin is taking over the world. Do you not understand the significance? This coin has been out for 12 and a half, 13 years. There are countries using it to trade amongst themselves to get around the US dollar. All the news this morning on Twitter and other places were Elon Musk, Vitalik Buterin, and how high Bitcoin's going to go. When I first got into crypto years ago, this was a myth. The idea of a country even thinking of announcing that they were getting into Bitcoin was the same as the Loch Ness Monster fighting Godzilla on Mars. It just simply did not make any sense. The biggest kind of news that we had was that eBay was potentially maybe thinking of accepting Bitcoin back in 2013. That was the moon for us. There were so many of the very early names in crypto who announced, and I remember I said this years ago. I told all of you this. This is why I say one of the few people who should actually be paid attention to in the cryptocurrency space is Andreas Antonopoulos, because he said all of this years ago. What we are currently seeing right now on the screen in front of you is the domino effect. There are 7 to 8 other countries who are already accumulating Bitcoin. Every day, they're mining it. They're adding it to their coffers, to their actual country reserves, to not have to do this to the US dollar, because they see that the US dollar, if their currency is failing, the US dollar is also failing. They have to find a better substitute. How you could even argue that Bitcoin is not going to be it at this point, it means you do not understand economics. You do not understand what's happening in the world right now. You don't understand economics. You don't understand inflation. You don't understand that there is a 0% chance of Bitcoin Cash, Satoshi's Vision, or Bitcoin Cash, or Litecoin, or any other thing taking over Bitcoin. You're not getting it, and you probably never ever will, and it makes me very, very sad. When we had, what was the other thing that we had? There was some other country who announced something. This was weeks and weeks ago, and the comment section was like, well, Bitcoin only does 3 transactions per second. It's not about Bitcoin being able to do tons of transactions per second. It's Bitcoin being used as the basis for other currencies or as the actual currency. And then even then, I had to announce to everyone, we have the Lightning Network. Over the last 3 months, we've had about 7 companies who've announced their support and building up of the Lightning Network. For those of you who don't know what the Lightning Network is, it already gives Bitcoin hundreds of transactions, even thousands of transactions per second. As this continues to expand, we're going to have millions of transactions per second, and the fee of it will be 1/100th of 1 cent. There will be no fee. Transactions are instantaneous. There's no longer a conversation of Bitcoin being too slow. We're going to have private So the point is, it really riles me up, because I know that there will be people in the comment section who want to have a laugh, and they'll simply make fun, and they'll go, well, Bitcoin's too slow. But I know that the other 95% really don't get it. Do you really think that at some point El Salvador and the other 8 countries are going to go, Dogecoin? Shiba? Let's adopt Shiba Inu. This has been planned for years. This is not coming out of the blue. When we had indications last year that all these mega institutions and banks had been into and buying Bitcoin since 2014, I realized that other people simply did not get it. We are going to hear about other countries in Latin America who are also going to be adopting Bitcoin. It's going to happen. And the worst part is there are so many people who are buying these other crappy coins. Now, I understand there is a method to this madness. And I've discussed this with my friends as well. A lot of people do trade altcoins to accumulate more Bitcoin. That makes perfect sense. But to think that Bitcoin is not it, have you not seen the last 1,500 videos on this channel? So anyway, that is the most important news that we've had in a very long time. A gigantic fraction of the cryptocurrency space is going to be incredibly upset with themselves because you keep lying to yourself and telling yourself that these other coins are going to outpace Bitcoin, and they're not. They're simply not going to do so.